Hey everybody. So I've been putting this off for a while, and what it really comes down to is actually introducing myself to the channel, right? Who am I? What have I done? Why am I relevant? Here's this channel. I'm calling it gangish. What's the point, right? So here we go. Grew up committing crimes very young. Was raised wrong. My father did many years in prison. Died many years ago whenever I was on the run. Whenever I was on the run from Dog the Bounty Hunter, I made a video about that. There's a couple videos back that I made about Dog the Bounty Hunter looking for me. Well, in the middle of all that, my father died. I forgot to throw that in there. But anyway, he never got his shit together. Was in and out, whatever. So, raised wrong. At about 13, I had already been to jail. It wasn't my first crime. I had committed enough crimes, a string of crimes in my hometown, a small hometown, and in Northern California. I had committed enough crime that I was on the radar of the cops. They called me Perm because the movie Friday had just come out. As soon as it came out, the big homie seen me was like, that's Big Perm right there. Because for one thing, I had a huge afro, right? Because I had hair like a Puerto Rican whenever I was young, Italian, really super curly hair. So they started calling me Perm. I got a tattoo. It's tattooed on my arm. My big homie put that there when I was, 14? 14th birthday, I got that in Portland, Oregon. We were in the projects in Northeast 163rd and Sandy, 123rd and Sandy. Right on the border of Gresham and Portland, in the projects, with his uncle Roland. He was an old biker, cool as fuck. Used to roll around the project with a bullwhip. All black projects, big old biker. He'd have MC Hammer pants on, MC Hammer pants with a bullwhip, right? And a cup full, like a 7-Eleven Slurpee cup full, of some beer, some Old E or something nasty. Always something nasty. I forget why I was talking about that. Oh, so this is my big homie. I was up there with the big homie from California. That's when I got that tattoo. I remember it was crazy. There would be like 5 or 6 black bloods here, 5 or 6 black Crips right here, but all of them were showing up to these projects to get tattoos, and everybody was strapped, but it was just like, nobody was going to mess around at the biker's house. That's how much respect they had for this man, Roland. Uncle Roland. My homeboy Jimmy's Uncle Roland. So it was one of the craziest things I had ever seen. I couldn't believe it. Literally half the room be red, the other half be blue. And nobody tripping. And then he would have the autoclave. He had an old autoclave, right? And it's got a rubber stopper in it, one that's like a pressure cooker. It's more, I think it's still called an autoclave, but it's like it's basically just a pressure cooker, medical pressure cooker, right? And this is where you would take all the needles, all the tattoo equipment, you would reuse it, but you would pressurize it, pressure cook it. But the latch that kept the rubber stopper into the thing was busted, right? So we'd all be chilling, and like every 2 to 3 hours, he'd be running a new cycle, and this thing, boom, and it would sound and it would hit the roof, and everybody'd hit the floor, and people be jumping and grabbing for their guns and everything else, and it wouldn't. And Roland would be laughing. He thought it was funnier than that. We got used to it after a while, but that was just every couple hours. It was going to be like a blast. It's going to sound like somebody was getting off, right? Roland, rest in peace. He passed on. He's not with us any longer. Big homie Jimmy's still there, the one who did this tattoo. He still lives in Northern California. So anyway, I was messing up in California. I had already done 45 days. I did 45 days in juvenile hall. Got out. My mom didn't know what to do with me. She sent me up to Portland for a little while with the homie. She came to Denver, get herself up here, get herself situated up here. Okay, cool. So I come out here. I did all the wrong things right away, jumped in, but found the first gang that I could. Said, yep, them were the homies. Let's roll. That was punctuated by, so that's what, from 14 to 18, whenever I go to prison, is ripping and running and having fun and going to juvenile. Did some time in juvenile, a couple stints in Montview, a couple stints in the Gilliam, got my GED in the Gilliam. Get bumped as an adult. I go on a crime spree as an adult at 18. I get bumped on that. I've talked about that in other videos. You can find that. That's not really the purpose. The crime spree is not necessarily the purpose. Ended myself up in prison. Prison gangs, because despite what Netflix will tell you, you don't join a prison gang for protection. You join a prison gang for protection, you're an idiot, right? Because you're going to get exposed. You're like volunteering to put yourself on the front line, or like if you're paying them or something like that, that's going to be bad for you. They're just going to extort you. Now you just become a bank account that they can extract from. And as soon as you're not, they're going to see you as a bitch anyway, because you're like paying. Don't orange is the new black isn't real. Just put it that way. Prison's like detention. Imagine a never-ending detention where everybody's trying to get over on the school teacher or the detention leader or the cops. You're trying to get over on the cops. Everybody's in it together to try to like break into something or steal something from the cops, or catch the cop slipping. God forbid the cop leave like his mace or pepper spray or something like that sitting on their radio. Cop leave a radio sitting around. You know what I mean? That's prison. And then there's violence. Jack, that's enough, sir. I'm going to have to cut this. Hey, that's enough. All right, I'm not going to have to cut it. Don't be a dick. Okay, so that's prison. Prison is working in the kitchen, right? And stealing, say, a bunch of like chicken or ham or something like that, something you want to sell. You send, you make some money to play on the poker table or whatever it is you want to do. So you steal from the kitchen, and the cops know that people take these big industrial things of saran wrap and use it to wrap up packages, because it's really, airtight and it doesn't go anywhere whenever it's called a clavo, nail, Spanish for nail. I don't know why, but clavo, it's a little package, right? So you wrap it up, boom, you got your clav, and you send it back, right? Making money in the kitchen. That's prison, is robbing them blind. Here, let me let my dog in. Go ahead. Prison is robbing the state blind every which way that you can. And so we would have these big industrial things, so they would know that you would use them to steal, right? These big, like 18-inch by like 3,000 yards, I think, of saran wrap. So huge amounts of industrial saran wrap. So if you got caught with them, it was a write-up, right? So you'd steal the thing and go wrap your clavo, stuff your clavo wherever you wanted to put it, and then if the cops was coming, you just throw the whole thing of saran wrap away. I don't know how much they cost, but you throw the whole thing away. If state property is going to be evidence, why wouldn't I just throw it away? Okay. I can remember having the trays that they would get our food on. They serve you a tray, you get food, right? So we would put a token on it. A token gets you a pop. Okay, it's a ficha. It's Spanish for token, ficha, right? So we put a token on the line, right? Whoever was doing dishes. And what you got to do is you take the tray in, slap it once, boom, like that, to get the food off, right? You get one tap to tap everything off real good, and then you get one slam, right? To try to break it, to try to bust the tray in half. And then whoever had the most at the end of the night got the coin, right? So there'd be 2-3 of us back there doing it on a busy night. Crack, crack, The record I ever seen, the dude I seen that was the coldest at it, I'm not going to name him because he's still in there, but he could do 40. He did like 43 in the night, broke 43 trays. So imagine how much money we costed the state, and we thought it was funnier than shit. That's prison, right? But then there's gangs and violence and drugs, And like I said, you don't join gangs for protection. You join gangs for influence because you want to be involved in the mix, because whenever something happens, you want to say, well, how about we do this, and maybe your say so is accounts for something, right? And then after a while, maybe they turn to you. Maybe it's not your say so anymore. Maybe they defer to you, right? I can remember being 26, the first time I realized these people are deferring to me. I still saw myself as a kid. I was 26. I was good size. I was boxing. I was in the prison at Walsenburg, Colorado. It was a dust bowl. Wonderful prison, though. I liked the prison. It was some of the best, easiest time I ever did. And I was boxing at the time. I was on the punching bag all day, so I was in shape. But I still saw myself as I'm still 26, and I was just a short timer, And then I turned around and I realized one day that these people are deferring to me. They're coming to me asking, "What should we do about it?" Well, shit, I don't know. I'm still a kid, right? But that shows where the evolution of my life was. I'm in prison, running around, doing nothing good. My philosophy in prison was we're gonna do this gang shit in here. I might as well be in the mix because that's where all the drugs is at. That's where all the power's at. That's where all the influence is at. That's where you're gonna get that's where you're getting in on hooch. That's where you're getting in on whatever it is that you want. You know what I mean? Whenever the dope comes in, whatever, you're gonna be in. You're trying to be in the right. That's why you join the gang. So, but that's neither here nor there. So I did some time in prison. Out of that, I did about a decade in prison. I did about 3 to 4 years of juvenile, in and out of juvenile homes. Did about 10 as an adult, and 4 of it was in solitary confinement. I've been through administrative segregation hearings 5 times, I believe. It might be 6, but I can count at least 5. I can remember at least 5. One of them kind of doesn't really count because I paroled. I paroled to the streets and got sent back within 6 months. And if you come out of administrative segregation, or the SHU, what they call the SHU in a lot of places, if you come out, or the box, you'll hear people describe it as the box. If you come out of the box and you make it less than 6 months, 6 months on the street, they say, no, a year, because I made it for 8 months. If you make it less than a year on the street, they send you right back to the box. So I had a hearing, you know what I mean? In theory, quotes, a hearing, but I never had a chance. It was just a stamp. It was just a rubber stamp at that point because I hadn't been out for a year. They didn't even have to think about it. I've been ad-segged for administrative SHU and placed in the SHU. Initially, it was violence. The first couple times it was violence. I'm not a violent person. I was placed in a very violent prison where like 80% of the population was under 25. It's just what you do there is you fight. It's Buena Vista, Colorado. I don't know what it looks like now, but it was all young gangbangers. They know that. The prison's designed like that. The big homie in the county told me that was going to, he goes, "You're going to Buena, Doug." He goes, "You're 18, you're going to Buena. So get ready for that." And he goes in, but he told me straight out, he said, you're going to fight. Get ready to fight. Keep your boots on. Get ready to fight. He goes, "Well, nobody's going to kill you or nothing." He goes, "And you'll hear people woof, da, da, da." He goes, "Ain't nobody going to do none of that." He goes, "You just be ready to swing." He goes, "If somebody makes you uncomfortable, bust them in their mouth. That's it." He goes, "Just bust them in their mouth and go to the hole. And then whenever you get out the hole, do it again. If they make you uncomfortable again, do it again. And don't worry about it." And I took his advice, and it actually worked. That shit worked. And then I ended up doing time with him later. The big homie Flacco. I did time with him in another joint. It turns out that's exactly that's exactly his philosophy. He was very fast with his hands, and he had a tendency to take off on people and knock them out cold before anybody actually knew what was happening. He was very tall, very skinny, very fast, hit very hard, and he tendency to knock people out cold and like turn around and walk away before anybody knows exactly what happened or seen what would, you know what I mean? He's done this a couple times, so he's tended to stay out of trouble as far as fighting work's concerned. But he was something else. But that's a whole nother situation. The point of the matter is, I went to prison. I did some fighting for like the first 6 months. I got like 3 assault cases or something like that in like a 9-month period or a 10-month period or something like that. Less than a year, like 3 class 1 assaults. And they sent me to the box for the first time. And then I went another time. I went another time for I went another time for engaging in a riot. They got me for engaging in a riot at Ordway. No, inciting a riot at Ordway, because I set the yard off over there. We were outgunned, so we just kind of went for it. It was like, fuck it, hit the yard and go for it. Hit the chow hall, actually, is what it ended up being, where shit went down. Some went down in the chow hall, some went down in the yard, but I set it off, so they gave me inciting a riot on that one. Man, I got another one that's engaging in a riot. I get out onto the yard in Sterling. Same thing, just stealing everything that we could get our hands on. But that's not the point of it. I keep getting lost on exactly what this story is about. The point of the story is this. I did a bunch of prison time. I did a bunch of solitary confinement time. As you can see, I'm easily distracted. My dog's easily distracting. He's mad now that I should let him back out. Let's see. Come here, baby. I got a French bulldog. His name's Jack. Come here, baby. Come on. No? Okay. So, the point is, I did all this time. I did the gang shit. I did all this shit. I got out. I went through a program called Peer 1, which is a behavioral modification program. I got myself sober. I've been clean and sober since, March 6, 2013, I think, if that sounds right. A couple years in, I got myself off to college, completed community college, moved on to university. I graduated in the fall. I graduated in December with a bachelor's in technical writing, Bachelor of Science in technical writing and editing, and a minor in interactive media production, motion media, emphasis on motion media. I've got and I'm heavily certified in architecture and software drafting, things of this nature. I picked up a nice education. Anyway, the point is, this is what makes me qualified to talk about all of this. I now am going to go back into the world that I grew up in and shine a light on some of the pain, what is out there. I don't know where it's going to lead, but I'm tackling a very tough subject right now. It's not tough, but it's dense, information dense. There's a lot to it. It's almost going to be a full-length documentary. I don't know how long it's going to be. But I made a decision about how I'm going to move forward with my work, because I have to thread a line here. And the reason that I have to thread a line is because I'm going to talk about gangs. And many of these gangs are still active, right? So this is what I've decided to do. If I tell a story about a specific gang, there's not going to be names of specific people attached to the story at all. I'm just going to discuss the organization. And if I discuss specific people, I'm not going to discuss their gang or disclose their gang. Now, if I interview people and they decide that they want to talk about their gang, fine. That's fine. But that's on them. I really have to watch what I'm doing here, and you're going to see whenever the next video comes out. This is a touchy subject. It's going to be touchy for a bunch of reasons. There's international intrigue. There's sexual slavery. There's murder for something, murder for hire. There's gangs involved. There's accusations of white supremacists. It covers the whole gambit, and I got to watch all of this. I got a firsthand look at all of this, and all the sources are out in the world. You can go find them in Wikipedia and check on what I'm telling you. I got to watch it up close. But I got to be careful about this one, so bear with me. Give me a couple days. It's going to be good. I just got to be really careful on this one, and I don't want it to be shit, because I'm going to work really hard on it. Bye.